This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by A&A Companies.
You're watching DelmarvaLife, and everybody knows how important it is to have that friend who tells it like it is, tells the truth no matter what. And when it comes to heating and air conditioning, it's this girl right here, Mindy Allen-Townsend, who's the vice president of A&A Companies. Mindy, it's always good to talk to you, and you always tell it like it is. It's who you are.
Try.
So, and you were saying that there's some kind of big changes coming into the industry that you want people to know about, right?
Yeah, so, our industry is ever evolving, obviously with technology and the EPA and government regulations. But one of the big changes that's coming is we're going to go through another refrigerant change. About 15 to 20 years ago, we dealt with this where we went from R22 to R410A. And that was, it has drug out a lot longer than what any of us anticipated, but we are getting ready to deal with it again. We, as heating and air conditioning companies, can no longer buy R22. We haven't been able to for quite some time. If you can find it, it is very expensive. So if you have an R22 unit, the time is coming where you're not going to have a choice, but you're going to have to replace the system if you have a major mechanical failure. We're going to deal with that in the coming years with 410A. We are currently in the 410A refrigerant. So when 454 comes out and our 410A is now on the wayside, you're going to see the cost of the parts go up. You're going to see the cost of the refrigerant go up. You're going to see availability decrease because it's being regulated by the federal government. So, I want people to understand that R22, we've been prolonging it, prolonging the inevitable. The inevitable is coming because now we're getting a new refrigerant. And unfortunately, the industry, has to go by what the EPA says. So, customers need to be aware that there's going to be some additional costs to it. And, a heat pump, for example, is a two-piece system. You have a heat pump and an air handler. You can't take a 410A outdoor unit and put it on a R22 air handler. It has to be a matched refrigerant system in order for it to operate. So I think that that's a common misconception, is that people think that they could just replace one piece of a two-piece puzzle, not when they're different refrigerants.
Gotcha. Now, and this isn't just something that's happening for A&A, like this is happening for everybody,
yep,
right?
It's industry-wide. So our geothermal units, the new refrigerant is set to come out in May, June. Our heat pumps, they are set to release in the fourth quarter. By December 31st, 2025, we can no longer buy or install a R410A unit as of right now. Could that very well change? Maybe. Who knows? But that's the regulation as of right now. So at the end of next year, we will no longer be able to sell you an R410A unit or buy any.
Okay, so Mindy, this might seem like a silly question, but when I think about the R numbers and everything like that, I don't know what kind of refrigerant I have. And do people know? How do I even know?
So no, most people don't know, but a good way to tell is to go out to your outdoor unit, depending on the manufacturer, but they all have a nomenclature, which is normally about a sticker this big on a panel of the unit on the outside facing panel. If you read down, it'll give you a model and serial number, and then it'll say refrigerant, it'll say R410A or R22. That is what refrigerant your system is.
Yeah, and you don't want to be charging people more prices, but you literally have to.
Right. We don't want to increase our prices. We don't want, I don't like to, put someone in a position where they don't have a choice. But unfortunately, yes, there's financing. Yes, there's some federal tax incentives available for replacing of heat pumps right now, but it just is an needed, unwarranted expense that most people just don't think about. And, the general consumer thinks that the prices are 20 years ago prices, and they're not. It's just like everything in the world, everything is going up. Heating and air conditioning is not something that's not. All of the raw materials, it all adds to the fact that a piece of heating and air conditioning equipment is increasing in price.
Sense. Now, if people have any refrigerant-based questions, obviously this is something, if people are just hearing this for the first time, they're going to have questions. Can they reach out to ANA? Like, you guys happy to answer those questions?
Yeah, for sure. I'll do my very best. You know, the refrigerant change is still a gray area for a lot of us. You know, we don't know when we're going to get new heat pumps. You know, they're saying fourth quarter. It might be next year. You know, the manufacturers are still trying to figure it out too. You know, it's something that is fairly new in the last couple of years. So they've been working on, you know, equipment and getting the factories, you know, apt to deal with new refrigerant and manufacturing equipment with new refrigerant, which comes with new regulations, et cetera. So I'll do my very best, and if I can't answer, I can definitely get the answers. I just might not be able to provide them right away.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you at least telling us this much right now, because again, I think all this is super important, and you just tell the people what they need to know, and I think they appreciate that.
I try.
All right, Mindy, thank you so much. DelmarvaLife will be right back.